Hi, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Just, I'm gonna be up for hours. I ain't sleeping for a while, so thought I might just get this out of the way, get a few things off my chest, because it used to work before. Let me put this here, because I'm like half decent. I'm like in my Solomon Grundies. Right. Yeah, before I just used to get this off my chest and people don't know what's coming, man. And that people aren't taking this seriously. They really aren't. They're really not. Just having conversations. Like speaking to like Christians. Like this thing's just more and more clear every day. Every day. This thing is just more and more clear. This is why I say it's too late in these last days for us Hebrew Israelites, to be bickering. It's too late. We agree we're the people. We agree on the law, statutes and commandments. We going home. That's what matters. We accept Christ. We are under Christ, yes. I know there's small sections who don't, but most of us do. That's the three things we agree on. But put into contrast of people who think we're under this replacement theology and we're all under Christ and nothing matters. Nothing matters. It's all done away with. The laws are done away with. I fear for these people. I really do. Because when reality hits them, you're just going to see their faith just fall away. And they ain't going to want to know. I apologize for my video earlier, laughing. It's just when you hear the way the Most High talks about us as Israelites and us as human beings, and it's so true. It's funny, but it's not funny. But I'm sorry, I shouldn't have been laughing. And also I apologize for saying that prophecy doesn't really matter, and it's not gonna of course prophecy matters. I never said prophecy doesn't matter, but I said prophecy is not gonna save you. Prophecy is important for understanding, and realizing when I'm talking about the prophets and people don't understand, they say, oh no, we're under Christ now, Jesus fulfilled the law, blah blah blah. And you find out they're not really reading these prophecies. That humbled me, and realized, you know what, prophecy is important. Knowing prophecy is important when it comes to these guys, when it comes to dismantling doctrines. People really forget where we are. Really forget where we are. And I fear for these people. And I know, family, a lot of you will say, oh no, The Most High says, do not pray for these people. Forget them. If they want to reject the Most High, and then blah, blah, blah. But these are different situations. All throughout the book, we knew we were Hebrews. This is a new, difficult situation. This is a new challenge. People don't know that they're Hebrews. They don't know the book is about them. They don't know the book is about the motherland. And you're trying to reference this, you're trying to reference that, you're trying to reference this. And there's always some smart aleck full of doctrines of old colonial masters, full of the history books of the universities and everything. And once again, it's like you have to gauge people's understanding. And when they don't even want to accept that they are the people, it's like, where do you start? Where do you begin? And you're bringing out this, you're bringing out that, and you're bringing out this. In this conversation, I don't really want to go into details. I should, because it makes sense, but I have my reasons. Because we've been here before. We've been here before. Thinking that everything's gonna be fine. And I was like, what about the book of Revelations? What are we expecting? What's coming? And the dude's like, oh, nothing's coming. And I'm like, what do you mean nothing's coming? And he's like, everything's gonna be fine. Like, we're under Jesus. And I was like, okay, what about Luke 21 and Matthew 24? Can you just, none of these warnings? And he was like, oh, he was just dismissing everything. And I was like, yeah, we've been here before. We've been here before. Because they were outside the tube station singing songs. And when I was passing out, I was looking at them, looking for eye contact. I heard them singing church songs and that. And I was going to nod and say shalom, but they were kind of like weary, a little bit nervous, shy, ashamed. None of them would give me eye contact. One of the dudes did, and I nodded to him, and I was like this. And then I turned back to look. No, forget that. So on my way back, I was just going to the supermarket to buy a little side salad to go with my dinner. And I was looking again. None of them would give me eye contact. I'm seeing things so much more clearly now. But one of the brothers, he gave me eye contact. We nodded. I was like, yes, brother, what's going on? And he started approaching me, and I stopped. I turned. I saw he had Bible in hand, so I thought, yeah, let's stop, have a chat. So we started having a chat, and obviously the normal things, laws are done away with, blah blah blah. And I was like, dude, read this book, man. It doesn't matter. I'm not talking about salvation here. I'm telling you, this book is about you. Salvation is another subject. It's another subject. We are the Hebrews. The Hebrews never left. The children of Israel are still here. And the children of Israel have a major part to play all the way through to the end of the book. And it's, oh, but where are all the children of Israel now? And it's, oh, okay. Okay, and it's like, guys, why would you not want this? Why are you denying this? Why are you rejecting this? As like I said, we've been here before, thinking, oh, we're under the blood, everything's fine, we don't have to worry about a thing, we're under the blood, the law's done away with, Jesus fulfilled everything, we're under the blood. We've been here before. We've been here before. And as we're Hebrews, you know I'm going to reference. You know I'm going to reference when I say we've been here before. What does it sound like? You know what it sounds exactly like? It sounds like the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord. And I know these people aren't necessarily in wickedness, but the deceptions are coming. The fake prophecies are coming. And what happens when we're all together and we're all alone? Oh, but Jesus said, oh, Paul said this, Paul said that. Jesus said, okay, yeah, he said, I haven't come to do away with the prophets. Or the law. You know. This is just family talk here, even though we know. The impersonators are listening. Our enemies are listening. But we got nothing to worry about. We know we're here to finish this book. No weapons formed against us will prosper. If God is with us, who can be against us? So certain things I won't say, just for purpose sake, just for relevance, and just to keep, for reasons. But, you know, where do you start with these people when it's like, yeah, okay, Melchizedek, Levites, that's what Christ fulfilled. That's what it means by fulfilled. Fulfilled means complete. So now the law is complete. We didn't have the Levites. We didn't have the temple. We didn't have the animal sacrifices. So Christ put himself in place. Now the law is fulfilled again. Fulfilled. Complete. Not away with. Okay, Romans 8. Hebrews 8. Okay, Hebrews 8. And you read it. Oh yeah, the law will be in our hearts. And what did you say? Repeat that again. The law will be in our hearts. Say it again. Still can't make the connection. They're just obsessed. Oh, law's done away with. Law's done away with. I've actually found it easier this summer talking to older Christians, older Jehovah's Witnesses of the family, you know, African descent, West Indians. I found it easier talking to them when it was the other way around before. But this year, it's been easier to talk to the elders, my age and above. But recently, talking to these young Christians, 25 years old and blah, 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 they're all caught up in the fairy tale. They're all caught up in the love song. The wake up call. The wake up calls just whoosh straight over their heads. And I fear for these people. Number one, because they might get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Number two, they're just completely naive. They even keeping Sabbath. Oh, that's the law, blah, 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 legalism, this, that. Number two, they're going to get caught away in the deception. And I fear for these people. But we persist, don't we? We just carry on. We just carry on. This is how the book, you read in this book and you know this is true. This is us. This is happening. If you ain't in it for the long haul, if you ain't reading, if you ain't praying, if you ain't keeping in touch with the family, then you will probably you'll lose faith, you'll lose understanding, you'll lose heart, you'll lose heart. If you don't know where we've been, you don't know where you're going. And how can you know where you're going until you know where you've been? You bring out all the chapters, you bring out all the books, minor prophets, major prophets. Okay, so what about the Apocrypha? I don't accept the Apocrypha because it's and I finished the sentence for him. It's not God inspired. And he's like, oh yeah, it's not God inspired. And I was just laughing because I finished the sentence for him. I knew what he was gonna say. But when I was in my journey, early 2001, 2000, and I started to find Hebrew Israelite channels. And you guys were telling me, yeah, they're going to bring out Galatians. They always go to the Galatians. And it's the same, it's the same, it's the same. And you could just hear the parroting. And it's like, oh my gosh. It's like, wow. 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 And that's when you realize you just know things are going to get very uncomfortable. It's written, it's in the book. It's in the book. It's all there. People ain't going to wake up. You guys, you read the same scriptures as I do. We're stiff-necked people. We're hard-headed. So we have to have it the hard way. We have to have it the hard way. Can a leopard change its spots? Can an Ethiopian change his skin? So, therefore, things are going to be so hard, so difficult for us. We're going to look around and see that it's us, and all we have is the Most High, and we're going to have to cry out. We're going to have to cry out. And for the Gentiles, the rest of the nation, it's going to be your chance to prove that you're not the enemies. You're not our enemies. Because the Christians are under some sort of illusion. When we're reading scripture and we see nations gathered against us, and people just still can't seem to make that correlation. You see, because us as Hebrew Israelites, we are choosing everything. We're choosing. We're signing the contract. We're accepting. We want the laws back because we know it's our culture, it's our heritage, it's what makes us peculiar. We want it all back. It's like I'm watching all these TV series, you know, because you do need a break from scripture, from YouTube, from prayer, from silent, from quiet time. Sometimes you just need to. And the telly's full of indoctrination and nonsense. So I like to just go into the fantasy world a little bit. Like Fallout was good. I liked Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That was refreshing. Very clever. Very good. House of the Dragon was good. You know. Fast forward through certain scenes, you know. What else? You see, the world wants to push. I don't want to mention Space Cell, yeah, because as far as I'm concerned, if you know me, if you've been listening, I have 3 words for that. And if you know me, you know what the rest of the 3 words are. In their desperation, you see, Space Cell is the typical thing which they want to push on us as our culture. And people who liked it, people who made it, people who starred in it will say, "Oh no, we're trying to show the pitfalls of that kind of life and then how." Oh no, that's reverse psychology, because this has been going on for 30 years now. We had Juice, Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, all of them. And they perpetuated and exacerbated the situation and glorified. It's glorifying. Stop making excuses. And they push that out there as our culture. And we lap it up. I binged it. I watched it, yeah, but it's in God's hands. It's in God's hands. You see how they have the fancy new sickle cell clinic. Oh, we'll take care of your mother, blah blah blah, and then the wicked woman's in charge of it. And what's going on what's going on now? New day and age. Oh, we have this great new stem cell research for in the hematology, and it could help those with thalassemia and sickle cell. And it's more DNA fiddling and this research cost £1 million, but they've made some sort of miraculous deal with the NHS so 400 people can get it. Oh, but we're not sure whether the people on the sickle cell list can get it, and making it sound exclusive, and you'll be lucky to be on the list, and it's like some kind of lottery. These are times where we must trust the Most High. We must. I haven't had sickle cell crisis for a year now. And since I started to get hold of the weed situation, cutting down, being able to go weeks without, going, being able to go months without, being able to go a year without now, over a year. No pork, no prawns, none of that nonsense. I'm in the best shape of my life. You can't let these people make you elaborate and put all kinds of stuff in you. I told you about my last experience in the hospital. I've been saying this is not our culture. Sports and music and killing each other. This is what they want to push out there. So my favourite TV series of this year was Shogun. It was so good. Shogun was brilliant. You see the old Japanese traditions, the customs, I mean the dialogue in it, the clever relationships, the back and forth, it's just smart. It's smart, sophisticated, educational. But we can't get a show like that. No, no. We always have to be talking slang, and there always has to be crime and drugs and warfare in every single thing. If you're going to have a majority black show, it has to, or it has to be about slavery or civil rights. See, that's what's missing, our traditions, our way, and that is the law. And people don't want it, they reject it. They reject it. They reject it. And we've been there. We've been there. So, family, what am I going to reference now? What am I going to reference now? We've been there. Jeremiah chapter 23. At least it's Jeremiah 23. Thinking that this thing is a burden. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. I know your trickery and your double speak. I know what you really mean. Everybody's starting to understand we need to go back to the old ways. We want to get back to our culture. And who do you thrust in front of us? It's endless. Psychological warfare is endless. It's endless. It's endless. Media superpowers. Oh, but nobody could keep the 613 laws, the 613 laws. Well, also, not everyone can keep the teachings of Christ. We all fall short. Does that mean the teachings of Christ are done away with? None is good, not one. Does that mean Christ is done away with? We all can't keep the teachings of Christ. We all fall short, so that's done away with as well. This is why we're told to meditate on these things. And believe me, I'd love to. I used to be in the fairy tale too. The fairy tale will be a great thing. It will be a great thing. But sitting down here, not being able to sleep, the Most High put it on me. I'm always brought back to just keep it simple. Keep it simple and be honest. No comforting lies, no fairy tales, no dream world. How many people on this earth don't like the idea of God, no matter what God it is, let alone our God? How many people don't even believe in Jesus, in Yeshua? How many people don't want you to have your kingdom? How many people are happy with how Africa is? How many people are happy with your race being at the bottom? How many people don't like you? How many people think that they're mine, but they don't like you? They're happy to see where you are. They want you to be quiet and be grateful. How many people don't want to see Africa rise because they know that they benefit from it, that they're pillaging from it, and they don't want you to prove as a race that you can lift this thing up like the Chinese and become strong and powerful and respected? So considering all these things together, how many people do you think is coming in your will be in the kingdom with you? And I'm like, wow. Wow. Most High, you just laid it out for me. People want to stay at the top. They don't want competition. They don't want to be on equal standing. They don't want you to be as strong as they are, as capable as they are. This is why they've always kept you down. Stay at the top. This is the real world. This is our kingdom. In my quiet time, just being still, listening. Nobody can change our kingdom. It's coming, it's inevitable. The book says we can fight against, they think they can fight against it. And that's ridiculous. It's inevitable. So, those people who think they believe in me, they have a lot to contemplate, but they don't want to go there because they don't like truth. They don't want the truth. They're into another gospel. That's why they won't admit or let you be the Hebrews, because they can hold on. Look at China, for example. I was watching Al Jazeera, right? Head to head. And they had the Chinese foreign minister, Victor Gao. And this guy, they were literally just getting him about the Chinese dictatorship and how people can't criticize the regime and blah 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 and blah blah blah. And the Most High was like, do you see it? Do you see the hypocrisy? And Victor Gao, he was getting so angry. Even he was like, there was so much he wanted to say. I mean, of course, he knows China are very strict. But one thing I can respect, he's like, this is the one China can't even get my words out. I've gone a bit Biden. This is the one China policy. This is the one China policy. Simple as that. Take it or leave it. We ain't having dissidents. You want to speak out against it, you will be dealt with swiftly. And people were like, shocked, and say, oh, this is a dictatorship, And he's like, whatever. Of course, he's being like very diplomatic. He's playing it down. It is what it is, basically. It is what it is. But he's like, well, look at you guys. It's just like, look at Britain. 16, what was it? 8 different prime ministers in 16 years or something like that. He said, whatever the number is, it's 8 different numbers, prime ministers in 16 years. I think it was. and then the host was just like getting angry with him and saying, oh, you're deflecting. No, he's dropping it to you. And he's showing you your hypocrisy. And he's saying, basically, look at us and look at you. Look at us and look at you. And they're like, oh, what are the Uyghurs? And then the audience starts getting up. And they've got people from Taiwan. They've got people from Hong Kong, people from Tibet. And you think these people are trying to undo the mess that the old colonial masters have done. The invasions from enemies and neighbours, what the Japanese did, what the British did. You know? And he's trying to break this down to the audience. And how when the British left India, they caused tensions between China and India as they were leaving. He's laying it down, and they didn't want to hear it. Basically, they're just focused on, oh, you're living in a dictatorship, because they're scared. They're scared. China's strong now, and he's like, well, our defense spending is only a fraction of what the US spend, and our military spending is for defense. It's for defense. It's not for attack. So he's answering these questions, right? And he's literally showing, look, up between us and America, we spend a fraction of what America spends. And ours is for defending. If anyone wants to come to us to change, take what's ours, to try and destroy our republic, they will be dealt with swiftly. And I was feeling this guy. I was feeling him. But look at America. He didn't say it, but by saying that, he's just saying, look at us and look at you. You're going around the world. You're constantly in wars, and you want to call us the dictatorship when we just want to take back the island that was ours. We want to take back Tibet, and Hong Kong is clearly ours. It doesn't matter what the people think. And I was thinking, oh, you should talk about Scotland and Northern Ireland. No, I mean, you should say, oh, did the people in Northern Ireland and in Scotland, did they want to become part of, did they have a choice in becoming part of Great Britain? Or was it something that was forced upon them? We just want to unify. And the host was like, oh, what, they don't want to unify. And I'm just thinking, look, they just clearly want to undo these things. They want to go back to being one China. And then some guy, one of the Uyghurs, got up and he said, I'm a British Uyghur, blah, blah, blah. And then I can understand the point of view when British people get scared. You got all these people constantly, and the media does this on purpose, getting up saying, oh, I'm British, I'm British, I'm British, I'm British, I'm British. And everyone's brown, everyone's Asian, everyone's black. And people don't like it. You see, this is what countries like China, they're trying to keep the Babylonian wine out. They don't want any rainbow doctrines and all the nonsense from the West coming in. And they're clamping down on it hard. All these Western ideologies and all this nonsense. We are China. We are China. This is our kingdom. So what if Xi is there for life? Look at us. We're strong. We're thriving. And that's what we have to think about as believers, as Christians, looking forward to the kingdom. Do you think you'll be able to speak out against Jesus, our King, against Yeshua? Do you think that? And if you don't like the law, you feel like it's a burden. Oh, nobody can keep the laws. It's done away with, done away with. When you know it's coming back, it's going to be in our hearts. But it still doesn't compute. You're going to be one of these dissidents, and you think you won't be dealt with swiftly. Our kingdom is a dictatorship. So the way you feel about things right now, living in the West, and most of us like, you see what happens when you live in these secular, in the West, with their freedoms and their ways of life. Do you see what it does to people's minds? There's Muslims in the audience as well, and they're all like jeering and sneering at Victor Gao, and I'm like, these people don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. And I'm thinking, yeah, I see it now. I see it now. You see, we're all in. We want this law. We want this kingdom. We want our ways. See, the difference is with the new kingdom coming, the sins, you will be judged immediately, and Your sins ain't going to be passed on. You're going to have to face up for your own sins. It will be merciful, but you will be shut down straight away. There'll be no liberty and fighting for your rights and democracy. Let's vote for this, let's vote for that. No, agree. You're agreeing to the book right now. The kingdom is within us. This is what people don't get. You can't see it yet. But us Hebrew Israelites, we're on it. We're on it. We're there. We want it. The way we live right now, and we don't really trust the calendars and everything, and there's certain things we can't really keep to with the work schedule, but we're down for it. We're down for the law. We're ready. We're ready for the kingdom now. We're dying to go. We want it now. And we can't. I don't know what you guys want, what you Christians want, because you're not reading the book. You're not even agreeing to the book. And you see this law as a burden. So I don't know what kingdom you want to be in, what you're agreeing to. Major shock, major surprise. And Victor Gary was just like, you know what, one China policy, you take it or leave it. Like, you can complain all you want. You want your independence and this and that and that and that. But if it doesn't align with the one China policy, you're out. You're dealt with swiftly. Now, they're not under, they're not under Christ. But I can see their kingdom. It's theirs. It's their kingdom. It's the way they do things. There's let's see if we can change this and let's see if we can change that. Let's talk about it. Let's have a democracy. No. It's there. This is what you really need to think about. What we really need to think about. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. You're not going back to traditional wives. Is that what you're not going back to? You're not going back to dressing modestly. You want to go. You're not going back to having to stay and be. You don't want to go back to being one flesh. And not being able to just put away your husband and your wife. You don't want to go back to. You want to keep sexual immorality. These people don't know what they're voting for. You got these people, oh yeah, Kamala Harris, they're voting women's rights, women's de-productive rights. And she's got a cross on the wall. This is what I mean, like black faces, high places, flying rainbow kites. You will make it, you will be successful, but only one condition. You sure as hell ain't no Israelite. Like Balak, yeah, I will bless you, I will bless you. In Maccabees, yeah, I will bless you, I will bless you, I will bless you. I'll give you gold and silver, I'll give you a great name. You will be in my courts. Everybody forgets 2 months ago, everybody was, nope, 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 we're riding with Biden, we're riding with Biden, nope, 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 nope. Now all of a sudden, just switch. Foolishness. It's so dumb. Nobody's asking the questions. It's so frustrating. It looks really bad from over here. It looks so bad. Even our newsreaders are starting to mock. Are starting to make. They're trying their best to stay professional, but you can see in the little comments, they're starting to mock this whole American election thing. But the usual channels, the ones are owned by you know who. Well, they're all owned by you know who, but the rainbow ones, they do their usual thing. They mock Trump and make him sound like a clown, but they uphold and make this whole Democrat Kamala Harris Joe Biden thing look really serious and really sensible. Oh man. Can a leopard change its spots? Can an Ethiopian change his skin? Read the rest. So much for so few. I'm just doing my best to make sure I make it. You see, that's another thing. You guys think you're already saved. Like, sometimes the way I speak, I might sound like I think I'm already saved. I may have even said it as well, but you also know that I've said many times, if I make it, I might not make it. This is why we're told to lament, to make supplication, fall on your faces, earnestly plead with me, because of what's coming. I want to book my place, seriously. I have to see this. I have to make it. Whether I get to live through it or whether it's after death. I mean, sometimes I just, I'm quite sick. Well, I just think, Father, take me now, man. Take me now. I don't want to live through this. Just let me rest and bring me back when you're ready. Bring me back when it's all done. But then some days I'm like, no, I want to see this through. I need to see it with my own eyes. I want to see this. You can only be Israel if you've been through what we've been through. You can't just slip yourselves in there. And yeah, all the old books you read, all the old church fathers, all the old scholars, they might be able to point here and say this happens. The lying ass history books might be able to say, oh yeah, this happened then and this happened there, rubber stamping everything, saying fulfilled, 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 fulfilled. But all those things apply to us. And us, after a certain point in history, and that's bang, right during the slave trade, when the slave trade began, after 1492 and everything, after all that, because your lying history books could lie about that. But ever since the transatlantic slave trade, everything continues and it all lines up with us. It's documented in these recent days with television and everything. You can see it with your own eyes. That's how I'm getting through to these older black Christians. But the younger ones, they're caught up on the wine. They're all floating away on the fairy tale. And I'm desperately trying to pull them back down. But the Most High is going to have to just burst that balloon and they'll come crashing down. Hearts broken, weeping, wondering what's going on, asking, what's happening? Just like what you've seen on YouTube recently, all these people coming on YouTube, these young black Brits, oh, everyone's being racist, what's happening? Y'all ain't been reading, that's why. And you've been living in a fairy tale. You've been listening to people saying, this ain't the real Britain, this ain't the real Britain. Y'all don't read. You can't sit and watch documentary and see that this just continues to happen. And you want to stay here and pass that same nonsense onto your children and onto your grandchildren. How comes you can't sing? How comes we can't sing our national anthems loud and proud? That should tell you that this is not our home. We have outstayed our welcome. It's time to pack our bags and go to our home. We have work to do. We have major plans. We want to pass things on to our children, our children's children. It's happening. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. It's something you cannot change. Just like you cannot change that you're under that blood of Moses. You're under the covenant. But you still have to choose. And Yah is merciful. Yah is merciful. You know, we've been through enough. But when we get together, when this thing starts to play out, and when we get home, no more nonsense. No foolishness. No. Because it's going to be you lot stay over there. As for us over here, you stay over there. Lest we get swallowed up also. But you guys, you don't understand that because you ain't reading. You don't understand that. And as for you, Ashkenaz, you can laugh, you could smile, you feel comfortable in your seat right now. You can laugh, you could smile, but we don't have to worry about you. You think you're good. Oh, everybody sees us as the Jews. They can't convince me. You can enjoy this right now. So I feel no way about speaking like difficulties of this, because it proves that we're living this book. But as for you, Ashkenaz, the truth deals with you. It's time, and the truth deals with you. Because when the Most High is ready to prove, when He's ready to show, when it's undeniable, what do you think is going to happen to you when all these nations are going to be like, hold on, these guys are the real Israelites. So who are you? So who are you? We've been living in poverty, in poverty and squalor. Yeah, you might have control and you're all chummy chummy pally with the leaders, you have control over them, but it's the average man you have to worry about. The 99% you have to worry about. The average man. What do you think is going to happen to you? When they're going to think, hold on, we've been living in poverty, we've been struggling out here, we've been scrimping and saving, and our country's been giving you billions and billions, decade after decade, decade after decade, and you're imposters? The truth deals with you. And that's the time when the costume comes off, the beard gets shaved, your little hat, as you do, just not to be seen anymore, gone, and you can just blend in to the rest, to the European countries, blend in, camouflaged. Oh, I'm Polish, I'm German, I'm Italian, I'm Turkish, I'm Ukrainian. Here, check my DNA. Just blend in. But one thing about us, we can't blend in. We are who we are. We are visually who we are. We can't blend in. There's no camouflage. That's why we need to go home with our brothers and sisters and our cousins and sort this thing out and put old vendettas to death, to put them to bed. Make peace and trade agreements with the Asians. Whoever else is left. Because these people, they can't blend in either. The Asians are the Asians. They're visually Asians. The South Asians, they're Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis. They're visually. We are Negroes. We are black people. We are Africans. We are visually. There's no blending in for us. We are who we are. That's why we need to stop this. Oh, you Africans this. Oh, you Africans. Oh, you migrant from the Caribbean, and you're not us, and you do this, and then you that, and you that. Has to stop. It's foolishness. Has to stop. Because while we're doing that, they're all circling. Yeah, they're circling. It's an unspoken thing in silence. They're all circling. And you see how easy it is to get them galvanized and ready, and it's an unspoken thing. They're all together fighting for their country, and you fighting for that same little piece of land which isn't yours. You want to stay. That's not yours. Sorry, family. I know this isn't you. This is the slumber brews. The people who don't want it. They're not going back. They're not going back. They're not going back. There's only two ways we're coming together. Most High always, there's always a choice of the Most High. It's my way or no way. You can all come together under wickedness, or you come together under righteousness. It's the choice. It's simple as that. Kept simple. We know what most people are gonna. We know what the kingdoms and who definitely want to come together under wickedness, because the hatred is perpetual. They'd rather see the world burn. They'd rather die than let us rise and become strong and thrive and build for ourselves, because they spent hundreds of years telling us we couldn't do it, telling the world we couldn't do it. We're a lower class of people. They've used all their petrol, they've eaten all their food, and they've spent all their money. Now they want to charm their way into sharing ours, when we weren't allowed to share theirs. We were given enough petrol for a Zippo lighter. We were given crumbs. We were given pennies. And now they want to share pounds with us. They want a slice. They want half a tank. You see, this is how they're using our old fears and emotions against us now. We're not going back. We're not going back. People think that means putting us back into slavery. Agenda 2025. No. That's getting you to vote for the nonsense. So everybody's angry with you and hates you and you look stupid. You're the face of wickedness. But every time over here when they're talking about LGBT rights and, I was about to say it then, de-productive rights and all the foolishness, they always interview a black person. Always. So now you've got it in your mind, oh, if Trump gets back into the power, 2025. I warned you about this like a month, 6 weeks ago. You don't have to listen to me, but they got you thinking, oh, they're trying to recolonize Africa. No, it's a different world we live in now. What they're trying to do, they come in the name of love now, and unity and equality, and let's share, let's do things better. After they've used up their petrol, used up their money, and ate all their own food, which they didn't want to share with us, now they want to charm us into sharing, and everything's okay now. It's a different world. We're sorry. Forgive us. Blah blah blah. That was our forefathers, and da, 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 da. Now it's great. It's great together under wickedness. What they're tricking us into is letting them in. And then we're going to be the beasts of burden, the slaves, the working class, along with other nationalities, so it doesn't look like racism. But you're going to see this rich ruling class who are going to be on top. And then the whole world's going to look like that. And just the same as most black people are working class, most black people are going to be the working class all across the spectrum, because we never had the chance to do it for ourselves, to work on our own. And the direction we're going in is, oh, it's going to be racist to do that. Oh, you can't do that. It has to be, everything has to be equal now. And this is what we're agreeing to. This is what we're pushing. Do not. We have to gain the ability. We have to start thinking long term. We know these people. We know them. But you know, the Messiah's coming, our Messiah. But they have to fake prophecy. So they're going to give us a fake Antichrist for the fake Christ to come first. And then that fake Christ is going to turn out to be the Antichrist. And then after that, then that's the real Christ. Just don't fall for the trick. But you know, it's impossible to speak to you guys. It's impossible. Sorry, not you, family, but they know who they are. You know. Let's finish this book. So let's not worry too much about the sufferings. It's inevitable. It has to. We just have to push through it. It's coming. We're used to hard times. We are the people who are prepared. We're mostly prepared for what's coming. We've been to hell and back. We know strangers to hard times. We know strangers to violence. We're no strangers to hostilities. Everything that's coming, we've been prepared for. This is us Israelites rising now. Rising. Separation has begun. We are lining up with God's will. Everybody thinks they are, but they're about to get the shock of their lives. Do as you must. Do as you must. Hopefully I can go to sleep now. Now I've let it all out. Alright, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. Sleep tight, bed bugs and all that.